Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. With this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 3060 12GB model, the most popular GPU on Steam, in Manor Lords. This one is the Afox model of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech PowerUp's GPU 0. Resizable bar is also enabled, and it is, again, the 12GB model. The 8GB is a lot slower. And over on the left, we're pairing it with a Ryzen 9 7950X3D with half of its cores disabled, simulating a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D and 32GB of DDR5 6000 MHz RAM and dual channel. Let's get into it, shall we? And here we have it, Manor Lords with a lot of aliasing. Holy crap, Lords of the aliasing. But that's because we are playing at 1080p resolution with the anti-aliasing turned off and the ultra settings first with 100% 3D resolution, so it's native res. Alright, here we have it guys, 60-ish frames per second. If you have a small settlement like this, it will actually drop from 60 FPS, look at that, into the 40s at times because of the vegetation. It's very intensive as usual. Yeah, I was expecting better, guys, not gonna lie. I'm gonna start counting our FPS right here. Now, it will massively depend on what camera you're using, the camera angle and stuff like that. Like, if you're looking down, for example, you get 100 plus frames per second, right? Really, really easy to run like this. If you angle it like this, for example, it drops down like crazy. If you angle it like this and zoom in, for example, and you put the camera behind some trees, it actually drops even further into the 50s and 40s at times, as I saw previously. Yep, there we go, over here, 40s, 30s even. Holy crap. And it's fully GPU bound, by the way, at least for now, since I have a small town over here. It actually becomes GPU bound in this system. And obviously because I have a 7800X 3D, essentially. If you have something like a Ryzen 5 5600X, I think you should get around the same FPS because the game isn't really that CPU intensive, at least in the early stages. So this is what you can expect. If there was a fight going on, for example, I think that would become a little bit more CPU bound for sure, but I haven't really gotten there. I played the game for about 3.5 hours at this point, and yeah, this is the experience here. It's totally playable though. I'm just surprised to see that it actually can't run at 60 FPS plus all of the time, because I really thought it would. Let's fast forward this 12 times. Work area is empty. Ooh, they can't find anything to gather now. It's probably because this is, yep, this is seasonal and empty. There are still a few animals there. The iron's still good. Okay, it's just the berries, I guess. Okay, so what can we do now? Build things? I mean, nothing I can do is going to be more intensive than this part over here, at least in this stage of the game. So yeah, if you have a 3060, the most popular GPU on Steam, you can max the game out. It's going to be a fun experience still. It's going to look pretty decent, you know, aside from the noise. But it is pretty intensive, as you can clearly see at the 1080p ultra settings. It's raining again. The weather doesn't really change the FPS by all that much, as you can see. Like, it's raining. It's pretty much the same FPS as this daytime, right? If I go over here, 39, 37, maybe slightly more intensive while it's raining, but it's fine. Now, let's try some DLSS on quality here at the 1080p resolution. This cleans things up by quite a lot, as you can see. Like, it's way softer right now, but it's not aliased, and there is no noise anymore around the trees, which is very, very nice to see. So I think I would actually choose to play this with DLSS enabled. It adds a little bit of anti-aliasing, you know, and you know what? I actually tried a bunch of different settings here on the anti-aliasing. I tried FXAA. It still looks noisy and blurrier than native resolution, so I actually prefer native resolution over FXAA. TAA is really, really blurry in this game. I don't recommend it. I'm actually going to enable it just so you see. Yeah, it's pretty blurry. Actually, it might be very similar to DLSS right now. But you get the same FPS roughly as native resolution. Massive stutter right there. This is a UE4 game, by the way, so of course it will have some stutters. And now FSR Quality is also pretty blurry, but a little bit sharper, maybe a little bit noisy as well, but it actually works quite well. It's very, very similar to DLSS in this particular title, although it's not really giving us that many more FPS like DLSS did. It was in the 60s, and DLSS quality, yeah, 68, 69, so a little bit. That's perfect. 69. What else do you want, my friend? Right? So with that said, I think you should try it with DLSS, see how it works for you, see if it looks good in your particular monitor, of course. It will also depend on the size of the monitor, the PPI, and so on. I would either use DLSS or just play at native resolution, but DLSS does give us quite a boost in performance, as you can see with the 3060. Here we're dropping into the mid-40s instead of the high 30s, 44 right there. Still quite a big drop though, but around other areas it stays above 60 FPS. Whereas without the DLSS it would probably drop into the 50s sometimes. Next I'm gonna disable the anti-aliasing again and try it at 1440p res. Alright, here we have it, 2560 by 1440, 100% resolution scale, still very noisy. You know, I thought the higher resolution would get rid of the noise. You can definitely see it, even if I zoom in here into this tree. There's a lot of noise, like right there, for example. Yep, I don't like that too much, but hey, it is what it is. There's also this sharpening filter right here that we can turn off. Maybe that will make it so it's not noisy. No, it's about the same thing, but a little bit softer right now. So I actually prefer it on high right there. Yep. Looks better to my eyes. It's personal preference. I think the sharpening won't really drop your FPS, so choose whatever you want there. And that 1440p ultra settings, this is it. It actually drops into the low 30s. Damn, probably high 20s. Yep, there we go, 29 FPS. Holy crap, that is intensive. Oh boy. You know, I really expected better coming from a 3060 in this game. It didn't seem to be that intensive when I tested this with the RTX 4080 Super for constructing all of the village and stuff, you know, progressing into the game, actually playing the game. I used the 4080 Super, and at 4K I was getting locked 60 FPS all of the time. And I didn't really unlock it to see what kind of FPS we'd get, but yeah, I guess this game is pretty intensive on ultra settings. It also looks pretty alright, you know. The fact that you can zoom in this far and all of the guys are just at work. There's a lot of detail, you know. I mean, it's not Red Dead Redemption 2 details, right? But see that? That's pretty nice to see, and there's a lot of attention to detail indeed. And remember, all of these people, all of the 89 people here in this village are doing something, aside from 2 families right there, which aren't really doing anything because I'm not constructing anything at the moment, so maybe I should actually. Let's see, I don't have this thing, so I'm gonna place it right there. Okay, go construct something. All right. So now everyone is at work. And you can, again, zoom into everybody, see what they're doing. I don't know what this one is, transporting water. Why did you come from this way? The well is right here. I put another well over here, though. Where did I put the other well? Over here, there we go. So maybe she's transporting water from here to there, but that's not efficient whatsoever. You got another one here, come on. So far, it's been quite fun playing this game. Very relaxing indeed, you know? Really liking it. Over here, wait a second, we got a lot of trees as well. Not as intensive as the other trees on the other side, looking at the city. Okay, yeah, you know what? For the next video in this game, I will try to construct more things and then have something a little bit different going on, you know, and maybe more intensive as well. But right now, 3 hours into the game, this is probably what you can expect. 30-ish frames per second sometimes, and dropping into the 20s, which is still very playable for the type of game that this is. Once again, even the 1030 with 20 FPS was playable in yesterday's video, so yeah, I mean, you can definitely get by with low FPS in these types of games. And if the high settings look way worse than ultra, I still haven't tested them, and I will test it in this video, of course, it's worth utilizing ultra settings over them. But now let's try it with DLSS quality, and this should improve things by quite a bit. Obviously, making things softer isn't really improving things by quite a bit, but you get used to it, and I think on like a smaller 27-inch monitor at 1440p resolution, it should look pretty good. Oh boy, it's December. We should be getting ready for the winter, guys. Oh, no. This is terrible. This is terrible. The trees are going away. The vegetation is going away, I think. No! Anyway, we still got a lot of vegetation. So, let's take a look at it over here. 30s. Not too bad. So, it apparently increased our FPS by like 8 frames per second or something like that. Not bad. Over here, it's way smoother. Just seeing things around town, you know. Also, the frame time graph isn't really too stable. You can see little spikes there, it's not a line, right? But I can't really feel any stuttering issues. It feels smooth to me, so at least there's that, you know. Again, for a type of game, even if it stutters here and there with these little spikes, it's fine. I myself thought it was going to stutter more and be a little bit more unplayable. But no, it's super, super playable, even at 1440p ultra settings. The DLSS quality does make quite a bit of a difference, so I would enable it here at this res. And let's try it now at 4K. Here we go, 3840 by 2160, native resolution again, guys. And as you can see, at 4K, things are really, really intensive. Holy crap. Way more intensive than I thought it would be. Like, at first, when I started this game with the 3060, I was seeing 50 FPS, 40 FPS, 30 FPS at 4K resolution. Maybe over here, right? No, not really. It's getting 20s. Maybe it was with DLSS enabled. It must have been with DLSS enabled. So yeah, at native resolution, forget it. It's not really that enjoyable, at least moving around and panning the camera and so on. It doesn't feel good. It's still playable, you can click things around still. The mouse is still set to your native refresh rate, so it will be running at 60 Hz in this case because of the capture card. Yeah, but as soon as you start looking at things up close, it goes down like crazy into the 20s. Very unfortunate. Let's see it over here. Probably teens, right? Yep, 18 FPS, 19 FPS. Oof. That is intensive. Holy crap. Okay. Gonna stop it there. Let's try it with DLSS quality first. And at DLSS quality, yeah, this is exactly what I saw when I first started the game with the 3060. Like, I thought it was getting 40 FPS when I started it at native 4K, and it turns out it was with quality DLSS 4K, down into the 30s at times. And I was really disappointed at the 1080p results because of it, but it all makes sense now. It was quality DLSS that I was utilizing, and it does make quite a huge difference right now, as you can see, guys. Like 30 FPS, we're getting roughly the same FPS, 29 right there, minimum, as 1440p ultra settings now. If you have a 4K monitor and you want to play this on ultra settings, it's gonna work with the 3060. It's definitely pretty enjoyable. I can't really tell much of a difference in terms of the gameplay, with like 40-45 frames per second on average and 60 FPS on average. It is smoother with 60, yes, but it feels responsive still. You can move things around very well, as you can see. It works. Maybe I'll try performance DLSS here at 4K ultra settings as well. Doesn't do anything, does it? What? Wait a second. Is it working? 42 FPS is what we're getting there. Quality DLSS, 42 FPS, 43. I don't think it's applying DLSS performance. It might be broken. All right. What the actual hell? Okay. What if I turn it off? There we go, getting to 20s again, and now turn it on again on performance. Nope, still the same thing, 44 frames per second. Quality. Alright guys, so we found a little bug right here, please fix. Anyway, let's turn this off now and let's get it down to 1080p and play on high settings next. Alright, back to 1080p resolution. I guess I'm just gonna set it all to high, disable volumetric clouds as well. It might be very intensive in this game. And this is it. I'm gonna quit, actually save the game first, override, come on, there we go. And quit the game, restart to fully apply things. All right, here we have it, guys. High settings do give us quite a bit of an improvement on FPS. Look at this over here. I mean, Now we got no leaves anymore, so maybe we should just wait until it's springtime again. Hey, it's February already, and things are going green, and we got the vegetation back, as you can see, and it's getting the same FPS, so I didn't really need to wait all this time. Still, it's better this way, right? It's more beautiful to take a look at. Look at that, the snow. It's very nice, actually. It's very calming as well, this game. It's amazing, very relaxing. All right, so 100 FPS, 90s, 80s, 70s, and I guess the minimums will be 60s here on high settings. In terms of the graphical quality, though, I can notice it's a little bit worse than it was on Ultra. Like, for example, that snow over there is a bit pixelated. Some areas on Ultra settings were also like that, but I think on high, it's a little bit more pronounced, you know, and it happens more often. It's not a major deal. If you require 60 plus FPS all of the time, play on high settings, 1080p, it's going to work absolutely fine with 3060. As you can see, no need for DLSS either, although if you want to use DLSS, let's check it out. Yeah, things get a little bit blurrier, but you might prefer it to be blurrier, actually, because it was too aliased and too noisy previously. I actually don't know what I prefer. On my 4K monitor, I think native resolution looks better than DLSS at the 4K res. But maybe on like a 24-inch 1080p monitor, it will look better with DLSS. Just see for yourselves and decide whatever you want, of course. That's why I'm showing you so many settings. But yeah, if you have a 3060 and you're planning on buying the game, feel free to do so. It works absolutely fine. Let's go 1440p next. Here we have it, 2560 by 1440, high settings. These don't show as high. That's just a bug, but I set them to high before I started the game. So yeah, here we have it. This is native 1440p on high settings. And it actually works pretty well compared to what we saw previously, right? 60-ish FPS, definitely not a bad experience here. Drops down into the 40s at times. It's kind of the same as 1080p was, but on the... Where am I? Okay, there we go. But on the Ultra settings. So it's a similar experience to that. Drops down into like the 40s at times. Doesn't even drop into like the low 40s, for example. So it's pretty stable here. Once again, and for a point-and-click game like this, city builder game, it works pretty well, in my opinion, at 1440p native. So if you want this experience, the 1440p native experience, high settings, the way to go for sure. I would definitely pick these over Ultra settings, guys, now that I'm seeing things. I'm not seeing them side by side, you know, but it's worth having that little extra smoothness instead of like dropping to 29 FPS right here. You know, not that it matters a lot in a game like this, again, but I like to have the extra smoothness. Let's see things from over here. Still 60 plus. People look okay. Not amazing. I mean, if you go really, really close, you can see that the graphics aren't really that special, but it is a city builder once again, and the fact that you can zoom in that far is amazing, and everybody's actually working and stuff. Now, if you want to get rid of the noise, the DLSS quality is there for you. There we go. You can see it applying, actually. It's very interesting. There's like a second delay there, and the noise just gets gone. Be gone, noise. I don't want you anymore, but it is a little bit softer once again, so it's a bit of a trade-off there. Higher FPS at the same time, though, so it might be worth considering playing with DLSS. And of course, at 1440p, it actually looks better than it did at 1080p with DLSS. And now, it's not even dropping from 60 FPS anymore. Alright, that's amazing. I think if I was playing at 1440p, I would either use this or high without DLSS. Either way, it's going to be a very playable experience and very enjoyable one, so yeah. Buy the game and have fun. It's discounted right now as well because of the early access. I need more food, I just noticed. Oh boy, I'm just wrecking my town and flying around and seeing things and seeing the FPS, right? Oh, I should be doing stuff. Let's go up to 4K then. Here we have it, 3840 by 2160, same high settings with the native resolution at the moment. And let's stop, they're running too fast. Okay, and oh, you know what? I can just pause the entire game and fly around like this with it paused without getting screwed by the resources, right? Okay, Right, so at native 4K resolution, around 30 FPS is what you can expect, with drops into the 20s and the high settings, of course. Yep, it's not amazing really. Again, it's very, very crappy actually to be playing with 20 FPS, but it's definitely possible in a title like this one. Again, you already know the drill. 30s in town, very, very close to the ground, we get 40s, and up in the trees, we get down into the 20s. Not terrible, but adding some DLSS is ideal. So let's do that. DLSS quality, because we can't really set it to other things. And here we go. Much smoother experience, 60 frames. That's such a difference, guys. We went from 30 to 40 to 60 FPS. It now feels really good. Okay, obviously it's still dropping into the 40s at times because it's a very high resolution still, but yeah, in the city you can actually play around, scroll around here with 60 plus FPS, which is nice. So if you're playing at 4K, I think we found the perfect settings, and once the dev actually fixes the DLSS and introduces performance and stuff like that, we could see way higher FPS as well. This is my church, by the way. You like it? Very interesting, right? It's just the default one. I need to upgrade it as well so they are happier. For some reason, we're doing really well. I don't usually play city builders, and I came into this without knowing anything about it. The most similar thing to this that I've ever played was Age of Empires 3 and Age of Empires 2 as well. And I mean, those are a little bit different than this, of course. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty well, I think. Maybe not, for those of you who are veterans at this. You're probably cringing at me saying, oh, what the hell? Why are you building things like that? You're stupid or what? Yes, I'm a noob at this, okay? But I'm trying my best here. Alright guys, that's been it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, even though this is more of a slower paced game, you know. For the video is not as entertaining, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully you gathered some information from this video. And again, if you have a 3060, go ahead and buy the game. It's very fun. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Love you all. Bye-bye.